Watch this.
The Blue ended up looking a little black and blue, a little worse for wear after the Broncos' title win Friday night. From the field to the frigid water, the North End goalpost had quite the post-game adventure in more ways than one. But this type of celebration isn't exactly unique to Boise. You probably haven't thought about mowing your yard in weeks, but one man has, and he's hitting all 50 states to do the little landscape duties for someone in need.
I've been fighting this thing since this thing started. It's a bad idea.
And Senator Jim Risch still thinks the Lava Ridge wind farm is a bad idea, though the federal agency pushing for it is set to move forward as of Friday. Now he's doubling down on taking it down.
This is everything. You know, I'm so proud of these guys. I'm so proud of our team. You all, everyone who's been a part of this, man. This is what it's about. This is why you work so hard.
You okay with them ripping the goalposts out tonight?
I'm fine with it. Yeah, I'm fine with it. We'll go find more money. You know, we'll get it done, but I'm fine with it.
He's fine with it. Well, Boise State fans certainly did get it done, taking about 15, 20 minutes to bend and topple the north end zone goalpost at Albertson Stadium. One upright went out the northeast corner of the stadium. The other went out the northwest corner of the stadium. They kind of went different directions, but both ended up in the Boise River. A stone's throw or a goalpost throw, however you want to look at it, from the blue turf. One off the Broadway Bridge. The other, this is the Friendship Bridge. Splash down in the bottom of the Boise River. A piece of one of them even apparently ended up at Suds Tavern that night, across from Boise State, to be signed by Post Malone. A post-game post on post, he said. Mr. Malone was at the game, then spotted at several spots downtown that night. He'll also be back on the concert back for a concert on the Blue in June with Jelly Roll, so keep that in mind. But he signed it. That's cool, right? This, of course, all took place following the Broncos' Mountain West Conference title win over UNLV 21-7 on Friday night, securing their spot in the college football playoff, earning them a bye and a shot at a quarterfinal game in the Fiesta Bowl on New Year's Eve. And as you heard Athletic Director Jeremiah Dickey saying, taking down the goalpost, no big deal. We'll take it. We'll deal with it, just as long as we won. Well, that was Friday night. Today, the school seems to be singing a slightly different tune. Joining us now is Abby Wiltz, who's been following this, I guess, the hangover after the celebration, as it were. Abby, kind of, we're looking at it now a couple of days later. They're changing their tune a bit.
They are changing their tune.
When it comes to the goalposts.
When it comes to the goalposts, they said, they expected the field rushing.
Right.
They kind of had heard the rumors, so it wasn't a full surprise for them. However, now those uprights are now missing. They want those back. So that's kind of what they want them back. So they said that they want to take pieces of them and use them as a little bit of like a memorial to remember this year.
Okay.
They said to do that, they need them back. So they're on the hunt for them, if anyone knows where they are.
How are they trying to do that? How are they trying to find them?
Well, they have videos of people pulling them out of the river, so I think that there may be, yes. So
okay.
maybe trying to track that down. But they didn't seem extremely confident. I just talked to them about an hour ago, and they were like, well, we'd like them back, but we're not sure how that really would happen.
Well, this breaking them up into pieces and making them mementos, that kind of already is happening, as we showed with Post Malone signing a piece of it, and it's been broken and sawed off. And it's ended up in backyards that we've seen videos of, so they're all over the place.
Maybe someone will bring one to KTVB.
Maybe. So, okay, so what do they, I know they usually give a fine to schools that have done this in the past, but as you mentioned, they expected the fans to storm the field.
They expected the fans to storm the field, and they actually were already planning to replace these goalposts.
They were?
They were. So that wasn't a huge surprise.
Okay.
That wasn't, it almost kind of helped them out. It's already over.
except the goalpost, like the entire thing, because that part that was bent, that's pretty obviously severely damaged.
Right.
That has to be completely wiped out. And why were they going to replace them anyway? They're just old?
They said they were old. They needed an update, and the new ones are actually the kind that you can take down. So no one's ever going to be able to replace or storm a field and do that again, is what they said today. So yeah, there's I guess a special kind that is meant just for this purpose.
Right.
So
to prevent this from happening.
To prevent this from happening. So BSU is going to have those.
All right. Are they pretty confident they're going to find at least a couple of these, at least a couple pieces that are kind of floating around?
That's to be determined. We'll see.
Wow.
They weren't sure about it, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. Anything else you learned today by looking into this? Any other little nugget that's kind of interesting, other than the Post Malone in town signing it?
All of it was very interesting to me. Growing up, I didn't go to a college football school, so this whole tradition to me, I'm like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Yeah, but hey, it's been entertaining. BSU wasn't too upset about it. They said they're very thankful everyone's safe, and we are too. So.
Okay, so at least we know that maybe there won't be any charges, like police out there looking to cite anybody. They just want them back for a reason to kind of promote it.
Exactly. Not that I've learned. No police on the hunt. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good news. And speaking of traditions, Abby, this is we kind of wanted to look into this. The history of tearing down goalposts, according to The Athletic, goes back to before football was the football we know it today. Back when it was still a twist on rugby, when points only counted when the ball was kicked through the goalpost, Yale beat Harvard 1-0 on a November Saturday in 1876. A newspaper account of the game said Yale rooters tore down the goalpost so that, quote, Harvard should not be able to kick a goal. Well, apparently no football team's fans tore down more goalposts over the years than Rutgers. Keep that in mind. But we wanted to know how many times fans have put the uprights prone in a river. Up to now, they've all taken place in the Volunteer State.
From 32 yards, that kick is no good! Tennessee wins!
This whole goalpost filling in as a flotation device can be traced back to the late 90s, when Tennessee snapped a 5-game losing streak to Florida. A good chunk of the 107,000 fans took all of 30 seconds to take down the goalpost, then later take them out of Neyland Stadium for a night walk in Knoxville.
I forget the exact route. I do remember a few street signs met their demise and a couple saplings, but ultimately we tossed it in the river where the parking garage is now out behind the stadium. We were so tired of carrying it and so many other people had already pulled off that we didn't know what else to do, so it made sense to put it down in a remarkable spot.
The Orange Crush is on in Knoxville after one of the craziest games we have ever experienced.
Then, 24 years later, once again at Neyland Stadium.
And those are some very important uprights that are coming down.
The Vols beat Alabama for the first time in 16 tries.
And we'll find out where those uprights ended up.
Well, it'd be the same spot they did nearly a quarter century earlier. Once again, after a trek to the Tennessee River.
And the biggest win on the West End. Vanderbilt takes down #1 Alabama.
Football fans would not have to wait so long for another chance to commemorate a Crimson Tide loss with another soggy celebration.
And the rest of the students will do the same.
In October of this year, Vanderbilt beat top-ranked Alabama for the first time in 40 years. And following the Vols' lead, the Commodore fans commandeered the whole goalpost and marched it down Nashville's Broadway, tossing it into the Cumberland River. And well worth the 3-mile walk. So there you go, another tradition taken. As long as we're keeping score, right? We could just add this goalpost in the nearby river as just another game day tradition Boise State has borrowed from the fight song, which we've already demonstrated is a clear knockoff of the University of Idaho version. And then, you know, when you go to the game and you hear that's another Bronco first down that the fans yell in the stadium, I believe that was co-opted from the Cougars of Washington State a few years ago. This one now kind of makes sense. I mean, the river's right there, so why not? And as we talked about with Abby, yeah, they need to replace it. But at least the Albertson Stadium crew has a few weeks to get those goalposts replaced, or at least that one. Fresno State plays Northern Illinois in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl coming up on December 23rd. We wanted to make a slight correction to a story we brought you last week. University of Idaho's attempt to buy the University of Phoenix has been locked in a legal battle for a bit, at least a year and a half. And last week, Idaho's Supreme Court gummed up that deal a bit more by siding with Idaho's Attorney General, Raul Labrador. Labrador filed a lawsuit in June of 2023 trying to stop U of I from completing the deal, claiming the meetings to discuss it did not follow Idaho's open meetings laws. An Ada County judge ruled in January those closed-door meetings were allowed. However, the state Supreme Courts, they disagreed. The state Supreme Court did with that ruling. And we reported last week they confirmed the meetings were illegal. However, Idaho's justices did not rule on the merit of the case that the meetings were illegal. Instead, they decided the district judge just didn't apply the correct standards when coming to his conclusion. So they sent it back to district court to look it over again using the appropriate criteria. The deal is in limbo, though, with the legislature pumping the brakes on it earlier this year. They can still work it out, but now the University of Phoenix has the option to open it up to other bidders.
If Donald Trump gets elected, the Lava Ridge project is over.
And it still could be, But like the toxic relationship you warned your friend about, the Lava Ridge Wind Project is still kind of together. In fact, you could say it took a step toward happily ever after taking another step forward last week. Bureau of Land Management issued its final decision on Friday and says it is on board with the plan to build 241 wind turbines in the Magic Valley, despite the constant controversy the plan has been under and the pushback is drawn since being announced last year. Risch says while he was upset by the decision, he's confident it won't actually get built.
I made the promise that this wasn't going to be built, and this promise is going to be a lot easier to keep with Donald Trump having been elected. It will be really, really easy for the president to put a wooden stake in the heart of the Lava Ridge project, and that's what we're going to do everything we can to make happen.
All of Idaho's congressional delegation is opposed to the wind project, including Idaho's Attorney General and the Friends of Minidoka, who want to keep the surrounding views of the Minidoka National Historic Site as they are now. We have an update on the Albertsons merger and a lot when it comes to getting into the holiday spirit. Abby Davis has all of that in today's 411.
A month after the trial wrapped up, we're finally going to get a decision on Washington State's lawsuit against Kroger's proposed grocery merger with Albertsons. Washington claims the deal will limit competition and lead to higher prices for shoppers. A King County Superior Court judge will deliver his verdict at 2:30 Mountain Time tomorrow afternoon. This is not the only lawsuit on the merger. The Federal Trade Commission has also sued to block the move. In need of some holiday cheer, Scentsy is holding its 8th annual Point of Lights event this week. From 6 to 8 tonight through Wednesday, visitors can enjoy more than 900,000 lights, pictures with Santa, community choirs, and more. Plus, it's free. Lights will be on through January 20th. Some of you helped bring holiday cheer to others with the 26th annual Stuff the Bus event over the weekend. Community members helped stuff Valley Regional Transit buses with toys. The numbers are in, and we're excited to announce that nearly 8,500 toys were collected. Now, the Salvation Army will hand out the toys to 2,000 families throughout the community. Want another opportunity to make a kid's holiday brighter? Help out St. Luke's Children's Santa's Toy Box. All you have to do is donate new, unwrapped toys, games, or books for all ages, or donate gift wrapping supplies. You can drop items off this Friday from 4:30 to 6:30 at the Idaho Elks Children's Pavilion at St. Luke's Children's in Boise. Or you can volunteer to unload gifts, sort, and wrap. The presents go to inpatient families so they can have a happy holiday in the hospital. Go to St. Luke's website to see the wish list or sign up to volunteer. That's the 411 on the 208. I'm Abby Davis.
Yes, it's the season of giving, but what about giving something out of season? Lawn care in November isn't necessarily an Idaho thing, but it was this weekend. You know, cutting grass may not be the weirdest thing to do this time of year. What other weird things do you know about the 208, or have you done? We'd like you to tell us about it. All you have to do is text us with your name and the hashtag the 208. Here's the number, 208-321-5614. Make it clean, concise, and clever, and we might share yours at the end of today's show. 'Tis the season for giving, but what about driving to all 50 states in 20 days to give back by doing something that's not really a late fall kind of activity? That's the ambitious mission of an Alabama-based nonprofit spreading holiday cheer nationwide. Their latest stop is here in the Gem State. Hunter Funk caught up with the founder of this nonprofit in Alabama, the group, and learned it's not the first time they've actually even been to the state of Idaho and done this.
Yeah, their generosity is coming coast to coast. Rodney Smith Jr. is the founder of Raising Men and Women Lawn Care Service. It's a nonprofit organization that mows lawns free of charge for elderly, those who are disabled, along with single parents and veterans. Nationwide, they do a 50-yard challenge for kids 8 to 17 to cut 50 lawns for free. Their goal is to keep kids on a positive path and teach them about understanding their value in society. Well, that was the initial reason behind his 50-state tour, was to mow lawns and visit the kids that complete the challenge. And a lot of Idaho kids have taken part. Well, Rodney has done that 12 times, but he's also done an additional 7 tours during Christmas time to give back even more.
The idea came back in 2017. I was getting my master's in social work, and I was on my lunch break, and I was watching this video of a guy that traveled the world on the acts of kindness to others on Netflix, and that just sparked an idea, and that's when I came up with the idea of 50 states, 50 lawns. And that summer in 2017, I went to all 50 states, and I mowed for the elderly, disabled, single parents, and veterans, and encouraged kids to sign up for our organization to our 50-yard challenge, and that kind of gave birth.
His 19th total tour. This time, he's visiting all 50 states to drop off cat and dog food donations to local animal shelters. Idaho was number 14 on the list, and he stopped at the Idaho Humane Society. He says he dresses in the elf costume to bring the holiday cheer to animals. Rodney hopes it inspires others to set a good example for the kids.
Just go in your local community. If you see a need, try to fulfill that need. I'm going to different animal shelters. You can do the same in your community. You can be picking up trash, or you can just be kind to someone. So there's many ways to give back.
And there is a mower that you're going to see in all of his photos, and he made it custom. It says adopt, don't shop. And later, they're going to put it up for auction and donate 100% of the funds to a humane society or animal shelter. And I, of course, had to ask the biggest question that was lurking in my brain. What's the go-to snack when you travel this much to 50 states? He says he usually goes to Subway or finds the salads from Walmart. So there you go.
There you go. And I guess mowing the lawn is obviously just part of the story. It's not the overall thing. It's not the goal. It's the goal, as you said, to get people to kind of be inspired by what he's doing.
Yeah, and just really support the communities. I think a lot of people forget about that, and he's like, I want to be that example, so we don't forget.
All right, that's a lot of time around this country.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
19 tours.
And a lot of salads.
Yeah. Subway sandwiches.
Thanks, Hunter.
After a foggy start this morning in Boise, we did see the sunshine emerge throughout the day today, and that helped warm us to near normal. Typically for December 9th, we're right around 40 degrees in Boise. We got up to 38 this afternoon. Our morning low of 26, spot on average, but I want to draw your attention to the record low for today, 21 below zero on this date back in 1972. And I actually want to share this with you. There was a bitter cold snap during this week back in 72. So 52 years ago this week, from December 8th through December 15th, Boise had 8 days in a row of record-setting cold. Look at the temperatures that were observed during that time, as cold as -23 in Boise. Not the coldest all time. I think that's right around 28 degrees below zero, but still 8 days in a row of sub-zero temperatures. Absolutely nose numbing. Maybe that makes our 26-degree low this morning seem a little less frigid. It's chilly out there right now, 35 degrees. Look at the beautiful sunset happening over the city of trees. You've not been able to enjoy a nice sunset for quite some time. I know a lot of you, unfortunately, aren't able to enjoy a sunrise or a sunset still these days, as we still have some very dense fog in the far western edge of the Treasure Valley. Ontario, for instance, still socked in with a quarter-mile visibility. So unfortunately, some of you still didn't see sunshine today, but for most of the valley, we saw vastly improved visibility, some blue sky overhead. Tomorrow morning, we'll likely wake up to another round of dense fog that will redevelop overnight across the entire Treasure Valley, likely the Magic Valley as well. And then unfortunately, the inversion, which is not even completely gone right now, is set to strengthen midweek. We're watching a system on Thursday that may quickly scour it out. If that one doesn't do the trick, there's a much stronger system by Saturday that should get our atmosphere back to where it belongs. So this one shouldn't be nearly as long-lived as what we just endured. Still, there is an air stagnation advisory in place right now through Thursday afternoon. Then we'll wait and see what that system does for us on Thursday. See if we can get our atmosphere right side up instead of inverted like we are right now. Still, your Tuesday not looking all that bad. It will be a little bit cooler. We'll see temperatures drop by 3 to 5 degrees. Foggy early, sunshine in the afternoon, at least in Boise, where that moisture and cold air continues to pool in the lower valley. You may still not see much breaks in the fog, unfortunately. We stay foggy and cold on Wednesday. A few snow flurries could come into the picture on Thursday as that system comes in. Then we warm over the weekend with rain and snow likely in Boise by Saturday.
It is Monday, which means we're 5 days away from the 17th annual 7 Cares Idaho Shares Community Drive, the biggest day of giving here at KTVB. And on Saturday, from 8 a.m. until noon, you can catch the KTVB family at 4 locations in the Treasure and Magic Valleys. We're going to be collecting food and money for 9 Idaho charities dedicated to feeding hungry families and helping those facing homelessness, including the Salvation Army. We caught up with the Salvation Army in Twin Falls during their busiest season of the year.
We're just feel like Santa's little helpers right now.
I don't know if there's anything else I'd rather like to do than reaching out and helping people.
And you can be one of those that help people as well. The Salvation Army always looking for volunteers. You can pack gifts, you can hand out food, and you can also ring bells this holiday season at several stores you see across the Treasure and Magic Valleys. Or think about dropping off things you aren't using at home because someone else could probably use it more. Another way you can help, you can just donate to 7 Cares Idaho Shares. Any amount will help. Just $15 will equal 45 meals, a $25 donation or 75 meals. $100 donation means you're giving 300 meals to our community, which is pretty impressive. For how you can donate and more details about the event, text 7 Cares to 208-321-5614. We're taking your donations online as of now, and you can continue through Saturday. If you can't make it to Saturday, you can just do it online. You know, we get this question a lot for people who send in text messages during the show. Like this one, I believe it's from Mike. I don't know if you guys get my text on the 2-8. I've never heard you mention one of them before. There you go, Mike. You've been mentioned. Thanks for sending in that text message. The fans pulling down the goalposts and throwing them in the river is vandalism. Mike is kind of going along these lines as well, by the way. Everyone seems to think it's funny, but in reality it isn't. We should not be encouraging such activity, says Maria. Meanwhile, this one's from Nancy McCall. The goalpost incident made me sad. Why is destruction a good way to show appreciation for the team? Well, I guess at least they weren't out destroying cars and tearing up the downtown like some cities have in the past. And yes, it is a little bit of destruction, because you heard Abby say they were going to replace those goalposts anyway. And somebody also asked how much it would cost to replace them. And we were told today anywhere up to $20,000 to replace both, not one, but both. And so that's kind of what that would cost to do that. Jacqueline wants to know, is there another city in the Pacific Northwest that also has inversion problems like us? Yes, and not just in the Pacific Northwest. It's Salt Lake City, Denver, the San Joaquin Valley in California. If you spend time there, it happens. You just need a valley and some mountains surrounding it. That's what happens.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVB Plus app everywhere you stream.